We are told from our first breath that family is the only constant in an ever-shifting world, the ultimate harbor, the one place where the door is always supposed to be unlocked. But for some, that harbor isn't a place of safety. It is a place of perpetual storm, and eventually a person realizes they are not drowning because they can't swim. They are drowning because they are trying to carry the anchor. Right now, there is a quiet exodus happening. It isn't a loud, angry protest. It's a soft clicking of a door, a phone that stops ringing, a seat left empty at a holiday table. Society calls it abandonment. Psychology calls it estrangement. But for the person walking away, it is something much simpler. It is the final, desperate act of staying alive. Estrangement is rarely the result of a single explosion. It is more like the coming of a long, relentless winter. One day the leaves are green, and then, almost imperceptibly, the temperature drops. A frost settles over the dinner table. A cold wind blows through a phone call. You don't notice the house is freezing until your bones start to ache. This is the death by 1,000 cuts. It's the way your success is met with a subtle reminder of your past failures. It's the way your boundaries are treated as suggestions, or worse, as personal insults. It's the enmeshment, that suffocating psychological state where you aren't allowed to have a feeling unless the family agrees with it. In these systems, your identity is a shared property. If you are happy while they are miserable, you are selfish. If you are hurt while they are just joking, you are too sensitive. Over years, this creates a state of emotional bankruptcy. You keep depositing your patience, your grace, and your forgiveness into a vault that has a hole in the bottom. You realize that you aren't just tired, you are spiritually depleted. The slow decay isn't about what happened yesterday. It's about the realization that tomorrow will be exactly the same. To an outsider, the break looks ridiculous. You stopped talking to your mother because of a comment about a sweater? You left because of a disagreement over a guest list? But they are looking at the snowflake, not the avalanche. When a person finally goes no contact, they aren't reacting to the sweater. They are reacting to the hypervigilance that has kept their nervous system in a state of high alert for 20 years. It's the physical sensation of your stomach dropping when a specific name pops up on your screen, the way your shoulders hike up toward your ears before you even open your mouth to speak. The break is the moment the body finally says, no more. It is emotional burnout. The internal wiring has simply melted, and in that first hour of silence, after the block is placed or the letter is sent, there is a terrifying, beautiful sensation. The first safe breath. The air tastes different when it's not filtered through someone else's expectations. In these families, you aren't born, you are cast. There are roles in the play, and the script was written before you could talk. The black sheep, the one who notices the house is on fire and is punished for smelling smoke. The caretaker, the one whose job it is to regulate the parents' emotions, to be the steady hand for the person who should have been holding theirs. The lost child, the one who survives by becoming furniture, silent, undemanding, and eventually invisible. Walking away isn't just about leaving a house. It's about tearing up the script. It's the realization that you cannot find your real self while you are still busy performing for an audience that refuses to applaud. To the family, your growth is a betrayal. To you, it is the only way to finally exist. We live in a culture obsessed with the happy ending. We are told that forgive and forget is the only path to peace. But for the estranged, this advice can be a form of secondary abuse. It suggests that your safety is less important than someone else's comfort. True reconciliation requires two people to acknowledge the same reality. But when one side refuses to see the wounds they've caused, forgiveness becomes a self-betrayal. It's an invitation to be hurt again. Choosing no contact is often the moment a person stops waiting for an apology that is never coming. It is the radical acceptance that peace is more valuable than closure. Then, there is the disenfranchised grief. How do you mourn someone who is still at the grocery store? How do you explain the hollow ache in your chest when you see a Happy Father's Day card? This is ambiguous loss. It's a mourning without a funeral. You aren't just grieving the person, you are grieving the possibility of them. You are grieving the childhood you deserved but didn't get. It is a heavy, quiet sorrow that society doesn't always have a name for. But in that grief, there is a hidden strength. because you are finally being honest about the loss instead of pretending the relationship was whole. The cycle ends here. If you are standing in the silence right now, know this. Estrangement is not a failure of love. It is a choice of health. By walking away, you are performing a profound act of self-parenting. You are giving yourself the protection, the boundaries, and the space that you should have had years ago. You are the one who stops the inheritance of pain. The buck stops with you. The trauma ends with you. And in the space where that old, heavy anchor used to be, something else begins to grow. Chosen family. The people who see you, not as a role or a function, but as a person. The friends who become brothers. The mentors who become the steady ground. Connections built on the foundation of respect rather than the obligation of DNA. Now, you are building your own home, and this time, you get to decide who holds the key. If you'd like to stay connected, consider subscribing. We explore the hidden corners of the human heart here every week. And if you feel comfortable, share a thought or a piece of your story in the comments.